Good afternoon from a blustery Las Vegas today. Happy Saturday to all of you. I'm here with Mr. Z. We're enjoying a cup of Dunkin' coffee this afternoon, and I've had a lot of thoughts on Vegas. I've been a very close observer. As many of you know on the channel, over the last year, I've made probably seven trips down to Las Vegas over the course of the pandemic, including this trip today, and it's given me a unique perspective on some things and some observations that I've made. And I wanted to talk about the biggest challenge facing Las Vegas right now, in my opinion, and that really has to do with the hidden toll that this pandemic has taken in terms of what I call the quality issue down here. Now, when you think about it, when the pandemic struck, it was initially shut down for a month, and then we went to sort of reopen for a little bit. We had bars open again in May, and the town was kind of coming back to life, and then it suddenly slipped into a more capacity limitations. You needed reservations for restaurants and things. We've seen the whole thing. And now they're up to, like, I don't know what it is, 50% capacity, or maybe a little
better. Yeah.
Getting better. But what's happened during that period when we had a lot of shutdowns in restaurants, a lot of restaurants were shut down, a lot of them were running very low capacity. In my opinion, a lot of the chefs and a lot of the cooks that were associated with a lot of these properties took the opportunity after a month or two to head out of town and to either go to LA, go to San Francisco, other places, and try to maybe place Texas places that might be open. And the result was that I noticed, particularly on this trip, that the quality of food and food services has really degraded across the board, to a point where I believe that they're just kind of making do in the kitchens right now, because they don't have some of this staff that was here for maybe a lot of.
Be able to get the quality products that they normally get to serve you.
Quality products.
Worse product.
And the quality of personnel in the kitchen. Not that they're bad people, but they didn't have the flow of probably a year, 2, 5, 10 years of service down here to really perfect and really care about the quality that they were putting out. Give you some examples. I like to try to eat healthy. I've had oatmeal for the last 3 mornings, and for 3 straight mornings it's been very lumpy with lumpy brown sugar. And I just kind of noticed things like that. And the orange juice is no longer like a fresh squeeze. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's like some type of concentrate or something like that. And our Boston pizza last night, although you were very hungry, you had some personal business to tend to.
The one piece I had was good.
But I noticed, like, the quality of the sauce, the spicing of the sauce. I noticed that something different had occurred, and you could always kind of count on Boston pizza down on Las Vegas Boulevard.
The ingredients, the quality ingredients.
Or just the methodology of how you're going to put that red sauce together. And also eating a couple meals down at the California Hotel at the Market Cafe, I've noticed a real drop in quality. I've noticed sort of inadequate staffing, and so a lot of different issues down here. And to cap it all off, the times that I've been over to the Fremont Street experience, which is the big canopy over Fremont Street that's about 3 blocks long, that is a place to showcase entertainment and people that can express their talents. Yes, you'll have the good-looking girls in their onesie, red, white, and blue bathing suits, showgirls, people that were doing some pretty cool stuff. And now we've kind of degraded to the point where it's a lot of people banging on 5-gallon buckets, people doing break dancing and street moves out in these circles. And hell, let's just say it, people just holding a sign, F you, give me money.
The kick me in the nuts guy isn't even into it for the money. He can't even afford it. It's pretty bad.
So I've noticed that the conclusion I had to come to is at this point in time, the money flow is not there to support the type of cat talent that usually comes out and occupies those spaces on Fremont Street. And the result is they're just having to have whatever, there's no vetting of performers anymore. And it's just show up and do your thing. And I really think it's starting to, I've noticed that it's like, you know, the high end, the medium to high, the medium, upper medium to high end money flow is just not, it's just not down here right now. And I think that's being reflected across the board in restaurant food quality, restaurant performance in the kitchen, a lot of the turnover in the wait staff and some other areas here, the lack of decent entertainment on Fremont Street. We can remember the days when you'd go down, they would have they'd have 3 bands on Fremont Street. You'd have a DJ doing something, and you'd have a live country band, and at the end you'd have a metal band or something like that by the plaza. Sorry, we got a helicopter going overhead here. And of course, those performance sites have been closed up for the better part of 10 months, I would say 11 months now. So it's really been, having seen the last year very close up here, I can tell you, I think that my observation is pretty much on the mark in terms of the dynamic. So it's going to be a difficult hole to crawl out of here. And we'll just see how the money flows in the future. I will say I've seen some older people now, whereas all through the summer and fall, it was very rare to see somebody over 50 years old down here in Las Vegas. They really were sheltering. A few more of them are coming out, but we noticed also during the pandemic that they marketed heavily into LA, and it brought a very, I don't want to say a low-end LA, it was very driven by value and pricing down here. And it's probably going to take a bit to change. Well, I'm always value pricing, as you guys know. Just some of my observations on some of the challenges that I think face Las Vegas, and one of the most notable things that I have observed here, this disappearance of quality, disappearance of competent kitchen staff, disappearance of competent artists on Fremont Street. But as usual, I will always be back to see how things change, because as I've said before, this is the most dynamic city in America, and it changes more rapidly than anywhere else. Hope you enjoyed this little observation today. Thank you, Mr. Z, for being here with me.
Yes.
And hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thumbs up, put your comments in the comments section down below. It's pretty tough to get a good, decent meal down here now. Thanks, everybody.